Hello, it's Pastor Andrew here with an introduction to the book of Proverbs. Proverbs is in the Old Testament and it follows immediately after Psalms and before the book of Ecclesiastes. It is 31 chapters long and it is written by King Solomon, who is the son of King David, the second king of Israel. And also, King Solomon is the one who built the temple in Jerusalem, or at least he commanded that it be built according to God's statutes and plans as laid out previously. And so, for the first time under King Solomon's reign, the Israelites were able to worship God in the temple in Jerusalem. Solomon is not the only author represented in the book of Proverbs, but there are also a group of sayings from some men known as the wise, as well as a man named Agur and a man named Lemuel. They are towards the end of the book of Proverbs, but usually are noted in the first verse of that section. In 1 Kings, we read the story of how Solomon became so wise. And so I'll be reading from 1 Kings chapter 3, verses 3 to 15, as well as chapter 4, verses 29 to 34. This is what it says. Solomon loved the Lord and followed all the decrees of his father David, except that Solomon too offered sacrifices and burned incense at the local places of worship. The most important of these places of worship was at Gibeon, so the king went there and sacrificed 1,000 burnt offerings. That night the Lord appeared to Solomon in a dream, and God said, "What do you want? Ask, and I will give it to you." Solomon replied, "You showed faithful love to your servant my father, David, because he was honest and true and faithful to you, and you have continued your faithful love to him today by giving him a son to sit on his throne. Now you, O Lord my God, you have made me king instead of my father, David. But I am like a little child who doesn't know his way around. And here I am in the midst of your own chosen people, a nation so great and numerous they cannot be counted. Give me an understanding heart so that I can govern your people well and know the difference between right and wrong. For who by himself is able to govern this great people of yours?" The Lord was pleased that Solomon had asked for wisdom. So God replied, "Because you have asked for wisdom in governing my people with justice and have not asked for a long life or wealth or the death of your enemies, I will give you what you asked for. I will give you a wise and understanding heart such as no one else has had or ever will have. And I will also give you what you did not ask for, riches and fame. No other king in all the world will be compared to you for the rest of your life. And if you follow me and obey my decrees and my commands as your father David did, I will give you a long life." Then Solomon woke up and realized it had been a dream. He returned to Jerusalem and stood before the ark of the Lord's covenant, where he sacrificed burnt offerings and peace offerings. Then he invited all his officials to a great banquet. God gave Solomon very great wisdom and understanding, and knowledge as vast as the sands of the seashore. In fact, his wisdom exceeded that of all the wise men of the East and the wise men of Egypt. He was wiser than anyone else, including Ethan the Ezrahite and the sons of Mehol, Heman, Calcol, and Darda. His fame spread throughout all the surrounding nations. He composed some 3,000 proverbs and wrote 1,005 songs. He could speak with authority about all kinds of plants, from the great cedar of Lebanon to the tiny hyssop that grows from cracks in a wall. He could also speak about animals, birds, small creatures, and fish. And kings from every nation sent their ambassadors to listen to the wisdom of Solomon.
Hey, it's Pastor Andrew here. Thanks for joining us today. Be sure to subscribe to our channel to get notified when we post new videos like daily scripture or weekly announcements. Also, be sure to tap the button to visit our North End campus worship playlist to hear familiar worship songs and make worshiping God part of your every day.